What is going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, here with a quick video with a Borderlands 3 update. I'm just so excited for this game, and literally every day I'm scrounging the internet for a little bit of news, and we finally have something, albeit it happened a couple of days ago and I'm a bit slow getting to it, but I still wanted to cover it because I think it's very indicative of the fact that Borderlands 3 is well into development. The question for today's video is, when do you think Borderlands 3 is going to be announced and released? Let me know in the comments below. So if you go to Randy Pitchford's Twitter, it's @DuvalMagic. He, of course, is the CEO of Gearbox Software, the developers behind Borderlands, of course, and he tweeted out the following. Quote, "Doing a shoot, I may or may not be a psycho bandit in a video game we may or may not be working on. Also, happy Bulletstorm launch day." So obviously this tweet was sent out on the 8th of April, which was the release for Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, I think it's called, the remaster or whatever it is. I should really be playing that. But regardless, we're focusing on Borderlands 3, and Randy Pitchford is doing exactly what he did previously at the GDC conference, where he revealed the tech demo for obviously what was Borderlands. He didn't say it was Borderlands, but my point is that he was beating around the bush as to whether or not that particular tech demo was Borderlands 3, or at least was indicative of what Borderlands 3 could look like, and he's doing the exact same in this tweet here. I mean, we clearly know he's talking about Borderlands. He mentions a psycho bandit, and it's on the fucking front cover of most Borderlands games. In fact, I think it's on the front cover of all Borderlands games, even the pre-sequel. The Psycho Bandit, that is, the picture of which has been iconic for the Borderlands series. So yes, Gearbox has started, or at least they're well into motion capture for Borderlands 3. I think that's a very safe conclusion to draw from this tweet. And also as well, if you go through Randy Pitchford's timeline, he was tweeting out a lot of other pictures of other people that were in that motion capture studio session. So it's not just him, it's also other characters as well. So they seem to be well into it. And I guess this begs the question, what does this mean for the development timeline or cycle of Borderlands 3? Are we getting close to Borderlands 3 being announced or revealed or possibly even released? And I've titled this video that Borderlands 3 is well into development, because I'm going to assume when you start motion capturing for a video game, you're going to be fairly long into development. I can't imagine that that's a process that you do right at the start. You would have to understand who your characters are, what your characters want to do, how you're going to move, all of those kinds of things. And I'm not just trying to talk out my ass here. I did do a bit of research on this, and in the description below I'm going to be linking a Gamasutra article which talks about motion capture in video games. And in fact, there's this paragraph that I'll read to you, which, after talking about motion capture for a while, it says the following: "Get ready for the shoot. At what point in the development cycle should you start shooting?" Motion capture, that is. "Of course, your spec, animation list, and shot list must be completed and approved first, but don't let the schedule slip. As soon as you have the information for your shot list and your talent is available, do a test shoot and then start shooting." There's a typo there, but whatever. "Since months of post-production will be needed to get the moves into the game. Roughly in a 14-month development cycle, principal shooting should take place from months 4 to 8, with pickup shots possibly in later months." I apologize for all the typos in that paragraph. I didn't really realize until I was reading it myself. But the long and the short of it is that this article on Gamasutra was about planning and directing motion capture for video games, and it suggests that if a game has a 14-month development cycle, the principal shooting for motion capture will take place around 4 to 8 months in the development cycle. But for Borderlands, of course, Borderlands is certainly not a 14-month development cycle game. I can be pretty sure that it's at least 2 to 3, maybe even more years. So much longer than just 14 months. And also as well, there is some evidence to back that up. So at a PAX South panel in January 2015, Pitchford actually talked about that the studio at that stage in January 2015 were beginning to work and preparing to work on the new Borderlands game. And then he confirmed the following year in April, and also at a PAX conference, it was PAX East this time around, he confirmed that Gearbox was working on the Borderlands sequel, and it was going to be the next game that they created after Battleborn. So at the very least, from January 2015, but even from April 2016. I think we can roughly say at the least Borderlands 3 development started from January 2015. It seemed like from January 2015 there was pre-production of some sort, and then from then up to around April 2016 they've actually started fully fledged development of that game, possibly when Battleborn was complete, or maybe near to completion, because that game was released in May 2016. So who knows, maybe it was pre-production up until April 2016 when Pitford made those comments at PAX East, and the next month after that, once Battleborn was released and the team started to work on DLC, of course, because the main game was done, you're going to have some of the team work on the DLC in post-launch support. But of course, not all of the team is going to be needed to work on that game, as the bulk of the game was already finished and they were just working on DLC, etc. So I think it's safe to assume that around May 2016 at least, Borderlands 3 would have started some sort of proper development, not just pre-production. And I know we're making a lot of assumptions here, but bear with me. Even if we assume that Borderlands 3 has a 24-month development cycle, let's say, that means motion capture should be taking place within, according to this Gamasutra article, like 8 to 16 months in. So let's say a year in. So if the game has been in development from at least May 2016, and now in April of 2017 they started motion capture, roughly a year, about 11 months, maybe we could be seeing a release of Borderlands in about a year's time. Maybe we could be seeing an announcement of some sort at E3 this year, or maybe at a later PAX, for instance. I mean, my prediction last year was that we would see Borderlands 3 actually release in May of 2018. That was my initial prediction. And if we're going by this timeline, it could be very well possible, but we are making a lot of speculations here. All I was trying to prove with this video, one, of course, that Borderlands 3 is in production. You know, Randy Pitchford is beating around the bush, but he's being quite clear and quite on the nose that he is creating Borderlands 3 along with the rest of the Gearbox team. But also secondly as well, because they're in the motion capture phase, they are well into development. Because if you actually read that Gamasutra article, there needs to be certain things done before you can start motion capturing, getting your shot list, your animation list, your spec, etc. And this is me as someone with no development experience at all, so I'm really just drawing at straws here, but I still think it's a safe assumption. So let me know what you think, Wastelanders. What do you think about the motion capture for Borderlands 3? Is it indicative of the fact that the game is well in development? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me I'm crazy if you think I'm crazy. Until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.